sounds to you like infrastructure. Without of causing offense, without flexing muscle, China has offered that. The People's Republic has first reinvented itself from within, eliminating poverty, and then going out and exporting its surplus. That's what really it is. It has a surplus in its economy, it is exporting it, and it is exporting it smartly in ways that, I hate to use this cliche, but can become a win-win for everybody. I hate this cliche, but I haven't found an alternative for it. And that's really the formula, that no party, state party, should be threatened or feel that there is a predatory power. Now, a lot is made of what happened in Sri Lanka and, Hambantota. Tota. Look, if my country wants to make a vanity project, those are my decisions.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. And if that is the capital we seek, or the investment or the loan we seek, then that is our decision, our good or our bad. Simple as that. And what I'm saying is that China has not taken that route. It has gone to countries and said, well, here's some capital, we want to invest this, here's the private sector, here's the public sector, together we want to build a Belt and Road Initiative. But how has this Belt and Road Initiative actually fared? I think we should have a quick look at it. First of all, it was launched in 2013. It aimed to connect Asia, Europe, and Africa. So I said beyond the South. Europe is well past the South. Through a vast network of infrastructure projects, roads, railways, ports, and energy systems. By the end of 2023, the BRI had reached over 140 countries, 140 countries. That's a huge amount, with an estimated total investment exceeding $1.3 trillion. This is not from, this research is not emanating from the People's Republic. It's coming from The Economist. And they're not necessarily looking at the People's Republic from a lens of, hey, we're excited about this. They are looking at it with one power looking at another, with the lens of one power looking at another power rising. The whole Thucydides formulation, Athens and Sparta here. I won't get into that, but look at the investment coming this way, and I believe there's more. For developing countries, particularly countries like Pakistan, who have been seeking justice in many ways, economic and development aid, and that was the old model after the Second World War, that countries would get development aid because many have been colonized and they have been at a disadvantage, economic and infrastructure disadvantage. So in the absence of dwindling, in the absence of transformative development aid, what you have what many countries call a potential lifeline. And that's a Marshall Plan for the 21st century, but not limited to one country or a couple of areas. It is well beyond that. Now, it can provide opportunities for economic growth, for trade and regional integration, and of course, sustainable development. For Pakistan, CPEC obviously is, I won't call it a game changer. Cliches are terrible, but can be transformative.
Yes,
if we put in the right milestone investments, if we put in the kind of compatibilities both from the private sector and the public sector that is needed. Public sector mostly needs to provide the regulatory impetus and the coordinated approach needed. Pakistan's public sector, unfortunately, is notorious for being slow, unwieldy, and difficult to mobilize. But I think the Chinese have found a way, finally, in making that work. So why do I say that? To date, CPEC has injected over $25 billion into Pakistan's economy, basically largely in the form of energy and infrastructure projects. If it's more than that, well then, I'm not all caught up. But certainly, this kind of influx has increased Pakistan's energy capacity by 30%, and we can look at it as a growth in an estimated 1.5% of GDP annually. If you want to just section that off in terms of how that stimulates growth, well, there it is. It can work if we like and if we coordinate it, and there is what is known as momentum, tasalsul, then it can go much further. And I think it can be the engine for job creation, digital connectivity through a sustainable lens. Now, why? I mean, and it can be a stimulus package. It can actually function as the missing stimulus package that Pakistan is always seeking. You don't hear about it because there's no fiscal space for a stimulus package. But that's what China can, and perhaps we should link it to that provision. And the linkages should be done by us. The linkages can be certainly managed because that's what big investment does. And if we regulate around it to spur higher investment, to attract a credible long-term contractual environment, then that's really what you're doing, and a policy rate that assists it. So I think that's what can spur it. That should be the lesson learned. But CPEC also is supposed to create over 2.3 million jobs by 2030. I think it can create more. That is the projection. I think we're being conservative. It can create more if it is effected smartly. Soft power becomes smart power if it is translated into actionable, coordinated programs by executive engine of momentum. That's what we need. You don't need the momentum broken. The worst thing for an investor